Okay, we are so back, you guys. Today we're reviewing this book. Let me make sure you can see it in the frame. The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. Many of you won't like what I have to say in today's review. No, just kidding. It's just my honest thoughts. Let's just get right into it. I have seen the movie, obviously. I guess that's not obvious, but I have seen the movie, and the one thing that I'm just going to start this video off by saying is that I think the movie is better than the book. You may never hear me say that about almost any other book. What other books could I say that about? The Host. I can't remember who wrote that. The Host is a better movie, and the movie isn't that great. And The Notebook. I wish I could think of more off the top of my head, but I can't. So let's talk about why. Because in the movie, I feel like it's just charming. It's tug at your heartstrings. And I haven't seen the movie in a while. A while meaning maybe 2 years? Yeah, around there. I don't know. It's felt like a while. And in this cover, I don't know what the alternate covers look like, but that is Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams sharing a kiss in the rain. And this book was just, it felt, instead of it feeling like cute and charming and Ryan Gosling in the water, he's like, there is no part where he goes, "What do you want?" You know the part that I'm talking about. He's like, "What do you want?" Is that the line? I can't remember. And then he's like, "Get in the water, baby. Get in the water, baby." I sound like a crazy person. I can't remember what exactly he says. And there's like other like good one-liner, like they were meant to be together the whole time, but they were just separated by war, but then they were reunited. In this one, it just feels like the girl, Allie, is cheating on her fiance. Like, what? Let's just open up. First of all, it moves too fast. This book is only 207 pages long, but the words are huge. And like in the movie too, you get like, I'm pretty sure there's a part they're at a fair together when they're younger. You know, like it establishes their relationship before he goes off to war. Because that's the whole... Okay, let's start with the plot. Sorry, I get ahead of myself. I get excited. There's this girl named Allie, and there's this man named Noah. Well, a boy. Girl, boy. Can I make it any more obvious? And the girl is very rich. The boy works in like a lumber yard, I think. He's not rich. He's definitely blue collar work with his hands type guy. They are sweethearts. He gets drafted into the war, goes to the war, and then comes back. When he comes back, I think in the book it says that they were separated for like 7 years. They didn't see each other for 7 years. But I think he was only gone for like maybe 4. He comes back, he builds this house, this dream house of theirs, you know, because she wants like a big wraparound porch and a view. And he goes and he takes this little plot of land and he builds on it their dream house with a big wraparound porch and a view of the marsh. I can't remember all the specifications, but he goes and he builds their dream house. But while he's gone away at the war, because when was this taking place? Was it World War II? Or maybe it was Vietnam. I don't know. He's gone for a war. It doesn't really talk a lot about the war. I think it was Vietnam. Anyway, she, in the meantime, gets engaged to this guy named Lon. Lon is a lawyer, or like an attorney. So he's also very rich, and she's very rich, and rich people are supposed to marry each other right? And she loves this guy. She says many times in this book that she loves this guy. But Noah comes back, he builds that house, and the local newspaper publishes that this lumber boy builds a house of his dreams. She sees the newspaper clipping thing and goes and needs to see it for herself because they've talked about this house before together. She goes, she sees it, they fall in love again. Lon is on like a business trip somewhere. He's handling a case, not in the same town, obviously. And he's away while they're falling in love, and she is being unfaithful. You guys, that's what it boils down to. And I didn't like in this book, when they were old, there was no charm. I'm missing the part of the plot again. So it opens up and it's this older man reading this notebook, the notebook, to this woman who has Alzheimer's, I believe. And if you haven't read this book or seen the movie, I'd say go watch the movie, and there's kind of no reason to see the book. I mean, to read the book. Is that? I don't know. I don't. Here's the thing about me too is I don't use Goodreads. I don't really look at other people's what they think. These are just my thoughts. So, if my thoughts are going against the grain, because I feel like I thought that this was like a beloved, like, oh, tale as old as time, you know, forbidden love. But it's just weird when they're old. I skip around way too much. Noah is the old man reading this notebook to Allie. Allie has Alzheimer's, okay? And he's reading like their story. He's reading their story to her. And so it bounces around between what he's reading in the notebook and when they're old and in the, what are those places even called? Like retirement homes. Is that the right word? And yeah, and when they're old, there's just no charm. Like in the movie, they're like old and they're cute and they're little and like they're so squishy. But in this, it's just weird vibes, you guys. Let me read you a couple excerpts and then I'll be done. I have written on page 31 here that it's moving way too fast. They don't establish their high school sweetheart love. What is that, high school? Yeah, I think so. And very well in the book. It just jumps right in way too quick. And then she comes to the house, right? And he has to remind himself. Here's a quote here. She's engaged, he finally whispers, and then was silent for hours, the rocker making the only noise. The night was quiet now, with little activity except for Clem, who visited him occasionally, checking on him to ask, "Are you all right?" So he's having to remind himself, like, she's engaged to another man. And now this is Lon's perspective. Because in the book too, it jumps to Lon's perspective, and he's trying to get in touch with Allie, and Allie won't answer, and he's like, I wonder what's happening. And he says, in the 4 years they dated, she'd become everything he ever wanted, and he knew he would spend more time with her. But practicing law made him limiting his hours impossible. Blah, blah, blah. She'd always understood, but still he cursed himself for not making the time. They dated for 4 years and then got engaged. They dated for 4 years, and she throws it all away in less than 200 pages without even dating Noah. He just comes back from war after 7 years of not seeing each other, and she throws away an engagement in 4 years with this guy. Like, I know that this was written by a man, Nicholas Sparks, but girls are confusing. We have to call it how it is. They go, so she comes and she sees the house, and then she makes an excuse to come and see him again. And she comes back, and it says, she surprised him by kissing him gently on the cheek, her free hand lingering at his waist after she pulled back. I'm like, okay. It just, something doesn't sit right with me here, because I feel bad for Lon. I really just do. And then they're talking. They go out in like this canoe ride. They have like romantic vibes abound. And he goes, Allie, you asked me earlier what I remembered most about the summer. What do you remember? It was a while before she answered. Her voice seemed to come from somewhere else. Listen to what she says. She says, I remember making love. That's what I remember most. You were my first love, and it was more wonderful than I ever thought it would be. I'm like, that is what you remember. That is what you choose to say right now. It's giving like tramp vibes. It's something really, it rubs me the wrong way. In the movie, I feel like it does it well. Of like, you get to see Rachel McAdams, of course, and she's like, she struggles harder than in the book, having to decide, because she's like, in the movie, I feel like it's more of a battle in her mind, and that's when Ryan Gosling is like, you just have to choose what you want. Like, so what is it that you want? And she's like, I don't know what I want, blah, 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 blah. But in this, it's just like, bye, guy I've been dating for 4 years. And it's not even Ryan Gosling, it's this Noah kid. We don't know who Noah is. Probably doesn't look like Ryan. And then she says, then they finally do kiss, and they make love with each other in their dream home. And Lon has no idea this whole time still. And she says, I think I loved you more than summer. Let me start over. I think I loved you more that summer than I ever loved anyone. It's terrible. Noah was silent as he turned away. She felt warmer as she watched the fire. Her hand ran over the muscles beneath his shirt, hard and firm as they leaned against each other. It's just so messy. It gives messy vibes for sure. And yeah, then Lon comes. He's like trying to get a hold of her. She's not answering the phone, and she has to break the news to him. Well, also, a little wrinkle in the story too is that her mom doesn't want them to end up together because, well, in the past it was because he was poor and he didn't like have a name for himself. And the mom was the one that had been hiding all of the letters. He had been trying to write her letters while he was at war, and he never got one in return. I'm like, okay. It's kind of a two-way street here. If she wanted to reach out to him, don't you think that there was a way? Or am I tripping? Like, send it to the barracks with his name on it if you don't know exactly what his address is. I don't know. Is that not how it works? It might not be how it works, but I don't know. Just so weird. And let's talk a little bit about when they're old, and then I'm going to end this. But she has Alzheimer's. Fast forward, she chooses Noah over Lon. Lon is heartbroken, he's destroyed, whatever. She don't care. True love is true love, I guess. And she goes with Noah. They live happily ever after into their dream home. She has Alzheimer's. They move into this home together. He sneaks out of his room all the time to go into hers and to read to her and to like just be with her. And he says that his name is Duke to her, which I don't understand. He says, my name, I say, is Duke. And he says that because he's always been a John Wayne fan. Like, why wouldn't you just tell your wife that your name is Noah? Weird. And then this little part here. I don't know if you can see that, but it says, come, I say as I stand with great effort, let's go for a walk. The air is crisp and the goslings are waiting. It's beautiful today. That's kind of crazy. And then the very next page it says McAdams. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I noticed that like it says the word Gosling. What are the odds it says Gosling and then Ryan Gosling plays Noah like 10 years later? Because this was published, I forget, 1996. The movie came out in 2005. And then part, I don't remember this part of the movie at all. Let me know if it's there or not. I don't remember. I don't think it is. She has Alzheimer's, but she also sees things that aren't there. He says, the evening confusion associated with Alzheimer's disease that affects my wife is the hardest part of all. For when it comes, she is gone, and I sometimes whether she and I will ever love again. She sees gnomes around. She says, "Go away, stay away from me," she screams. She is pushing the gnomes away from her, terrified. And I don't know, why did it have to be gnomes? I don't remember that in the movie. And why did it have to be gnomes? Couldn't it have been like something else? I feel like it just threw the vibe off. And I know I don't know. Weird. And then the ending of the book. Let's read the ending of the book, because this is just awful. The nurses at this nursing home are like, "Hey, Noah, you can't see your wife anymore because..." Well, not see your wife. Whoa. You can't sleep with your wife anymore because she gets confused. She gets scared sometimes. And it's just not working. So we just need to separate you so we can keep an eye on the both of you. And one night, the ending night, I think, is when it is, he goes and the nurse catches him. And he's like, "I just can't stand not being around her." And she's like, "Okay, I'll pretend like I never saw you. You go and enjoy your night with your wife." And so, it's the weirdest ending. Listen to this. I'm going to read the last paragraph. The last paragraph and a half. I get uncomfy vibes, and maybe I'm the only one. Maybe if you're somebody who has a bigger heart than me, you're like, "Oh, how tender, how sweet, how cute." No. I'm gonna read the last two paragraphs, and I'll try to be quick. Blah 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 blah. I think I hear someone coming, so I enter her room and close the door behind me. Blackness descends, and I cross her floor from memory and reach the window. I open the curtains, and the moon stares back, large and full, the guardian of the evening. I turn to Allie and dream 1,000 dreams, and though I know I should not, I sit on her bed while I slip a note beneath her pillow. Then I reach across and gently touch her face, soft like powder. I stroke her hair, and my breath is taken away. I wonder, I feel awe, like a composer first discovering the works of Mozart. She stirs and opens her eyes, squinting softly, and I suddenly regret my foolishness, for I know she will begin to cry and scream, for this is what she always does. I'm impulsive and weak, this I know, but I feel an urge to attempt the impossible, and I lean toward her, our faces drawing closer. And when her lips meet mine, I feel a strange tingling I have never felt before in all our years together, but I do not pull back, and suddenly a miracle, for I feel her mouth open, and I discover a forgotten paradise unchanged all this time. Ageless like the stars, I feel the warmth of her body, and as our tongues meet, I allow myself to slip away as I had so many years ago. I close my eyes and become a mighty ship in churning waters, strong and fearless, and she is my sails. I gently trace the outline of her cheek, then take her hand in mine. It gets worse. I kiss her lips, her cheeks, and listen as she takes a breath. She murmurs softly, "Oh, Noah, I've missed you." Another miracle. Because she doesn't remember who he is most of the time. And so he kisses his wife, which I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's a whole nother discussion. But kissing your wife who doesn't remember who you are while she's asleep. Anyway, another miracle, the greatest of all, and there's no way I can stop the tears as we begin to slip toward heaven itself. For at that moment, the world is full of wonder as I feel her fingers reach for the buttons of my shirt, and slowly, ever so slowly, she begins to undo them one by one. That's the end of the book. That is the last page. I don't know. I'm overreacting for sure, but that is weird to me. I closed that book and said, "Get it away. Get it away." So that's my review of The Notebook. I'd just go read the 2005 film with Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling and call it a day. It's a very simple book, and you could read it. This is a good, like, maybe like beach. If you're on a beach with a towel and like you're really bored and there's no other books in sight, read it. But it doesn't carry the same charm as the movie, I'm telling you right now. And I remember liking the movie. I don't remember like thinking it was the best movie I've ever seen. I don't know if chick flicks are like my favorite of all favorite movie genres, but yeah. Anyway, let me know if you've read this book before and if your feelings are the same. I don't know. But this has been fun. The next book, sorry, I have to look, is Room by Emma Donoghue. So feel free to tune in, like, subscribe, we'll chat books, and yeah, leave a comment or DM me on Instagram or something. I don't know. I want to talk with some people. Anyway, this has been Carson Reads. It's called Carson Reads because I'm Carson, and what I read. Okay, bye. Ciao.